Have you ever found yourself lying wide awake between 3 a.m. and 5 a.m. in the morning? No noise, no distractions, just you. The dark room and your thoughts. You look at the clock again. It's 3:27 a.m. You try turning over. Maybe it's your back. Maybe it's your bladder. Maybe it's just nothing at all. You close your eyes, but your mind feels like it's just getting started. If you're an older woman who often wakes up in those early hours before the sun rises, you might have told yourself it's just aging, or maybe you've blamed stress, a sore hip, something you ate or didn't eat. But what if I told you those early morning wake-ups might actually be your body trying to tell you something important, something deeper than sleep, something that could be gently nudging you toward awareness, healing, and even peace? You see, this isn't just about losing sleep, it's about your health, your energy, your mood, and your sense of balance throughout the day. Waking between 3 and 5 a.m. isn't just an inconvenience, it can be a sign. And like all signs, it's easy to ignore until it's not. For so many women over 60, this quiet slice of the night holds powerful messages about what's happening inside the body, physically, emotionally, even spiritually. You might feel alone in those hours, but you're not. Thousands of women, just like you, smart, caring, experienced women are waking at that same hour wondering the same thing. Why now? Why me? And what can I do to finally rest again? Well, in this video, I'm going to walk you through 5 powerful things you can start doing right now if you're waking up regularly between 3 and 5 a.m. Not medical jargon, not complex routines, just real, gentle habits that could change the way you sleep and the way you wake up. And don't miss the last one. It's the most overlooked change. And for many women, it's the one that completely transforms their mornings. Now, before we dive in, if you've ever had one of those nights where the clock just won't move and the silence feels heavy, drop a quick "That's me" in the "Besides" comments. Let's start a conversation. Let's build a space where you don't have to feel alone in the early hours. And if you're new here, this is Elderly Wisdom Insight, where we talk about real things that matter to real people in their golden years. If you want more tips, more peace, and more control over your well-being, go ahead and hit subscribe. We're in this together. Now let's talk about what your body might be trying to say between 3 and 5 a.m. Let's begin with something many women quietly carry but rarely talk about: your emotions. Take Mary, for instance. She's 72, a retired teacher, soft-spoken, full of grace. After her husband passed away, Mary found herself waking almost every morning at 3:15 a.m. on the dot. At first, she blamed the usual things: her age, her aching joints, a need for the bathroom. But the truth, those early hours were filled with silent memories. The sound of his laugh, the feeling of his side of the bed now cold. She wasn't just waking up, she was grieving. And her body knew it before her mind was ready to admit it. You see, in traditional Chinese medicine, the hours between 3 and 5 a.m. are considered the time when the lungs are most active, and the lungs, they're deeply tied to sadness, grief, and unprocessed emotions. Now, whether or not you follow ancient medicine, there's a truth here we can't ignore. Our emotions live in the body. They don't just drift through our minds. They settle in, especially when we try to push them away. And yet so many women ignore these feelings. We say, "It's just how it is at my age," or "I'm just a light sleeper now." But that's not the full story. Emotional unrest, whether it's grief, anxiety, or even unresolved guilt, can manifest as broken sleep, especially in those quiet hours when everything is still and the heart finally has space to speak. So what can you do? Start simple. Place a small notebook and pen on your nightstand. If you wake up in the early hours, don't fight it. Don't roll around frustrated. Instead, gently sit up and write one sentence, one emotion, one thought. It doesn't have to make sense. It doesn't have to be poetic. What matters is that you release what's heavy. Let your mind breathe so your body can rest. Some women even find peace in starting with a short gratitude note, not pages. Just a few lines. I'm thankful for my warm blanket. I'm thankful for the quiet. I miss him. But I'm still standing. These tiny acts of acknowledgement, they send a signal to your nervous system. You're safe. You're seen. You can sleep, but let's not stop there. Because even when your emotions feel steady, there's something else that can be keeping you wide awake. Your physical environment. The room you sleep in might be silently working against your rest. Now let's shift from what's inside your heart to what's happening around your body. Let me tell you about Gloria. She's 68, lives alone in a quiet suburban home and keeps a tidy, cozy bedroom. But every morning, almost without fail, she'd wake up around 4 a.m. soaked in sweat. She thought it was her dreams, or maybe stress. Sometimes she'd change her pajamas. Other nights she'd flip her pillow over to the cool side and try to fall back asleep. What she didn't realize, her bedroom was simply too warm, and that warmth was quietly triggering a hormonal reaction, one that her body at this stage in life just couldn't ignore anymore. As women age, estrogen levels drop. And with that change comes a new sensitivity to temperature. You may have already felt this during the day. Flashes of heat, sudden sweats, or chills that come out of nowhere. But at night, those hormonal shifts don't just disappear, they sneak in quietly, disrupting your body's natural ability to regulate its core temperature during sleep. Even just a few degrees too warm in the room can trigger micro-awakenings, where you're not fully awake, but you're not getting the rest your body needs either, and yet so many older adults brush theirs. Is off, they say. Oh, I'm just a hot sleeper now, or it's probably just age. And yes, aging plays a role, but that doesn't mean you're powerless. You don't have to just accept it. The fix. It's surprisingly simple. Set your bedroom temperature somewhere between 60 and 67 degrees, a range. That helps your body naturally cool down and stay asleep longer. Use breathable, lightweight sheets. Preferably cotton or bamboo. Avoid thick comforters unless your room is very cold. And here's a little trick that works wonders for many women. Crack your window open just a little. Even if it's chilly outside, that steady flow of fresh air helps regulate not just temperature, but oxygen levels too. Your brain needs that cooler, oxygen-rich environment to fully enter the deeper stages of sleep. Some even keep a small fan nearby. Not directly pointed at their face, but just enough to keep the air moving. It doesn't have to be loud, just steady, consistent. So if you've been waking up with a damp neck, a soaked collar, or just that sticky feeling of unrest before blaming your body, check your environment. Your room may be trying to tell you something, but now let's move from the air around you to something happening inside your body that often gets overlooked. Hydration and your kidneys, because believe it or not, what and when you drink during the day can quietly decide how well you sleep at night. Simple but surprisingly disruptive evening drinks. Meet Betty. She's 75, lively, sharp, and swears by her nightly ritual, a warm cup of chamomile tea before bed. It calms my nerves, she'd say. Smiling, I've been doing it for years, but over time, Betty started waking around 3:30 every single morning. At first, she thought it was just poor sleep, but there was always one reason: she needed the bathroom. She'd shuffle to the toilet half asleep, wash her hands in the dim glow of the nightlight, and crawl back into bed. But the problem, she couldn't fall asleep again. And those quiet hours started to feel longer, heavier, lonelier. What Betty didn't realize, and what many don't, is that during those early morning hours, your kidneys are actually the most active. According to both modern science and traditional health systems, this is the body's natural filtration time when your organs begin working to clear out waste. If you've had too many fluids close to bedtime, whether it's tea juice, even just water, your kidneys may kick into overdrive, signaling your bladder to empty even before you're ready to wake. Your body is just doing its job, but your sleep suffers for it. And here's the kicker. Many older adults believe they need a nighttime drink to fall asleep. We associate warmth with comfort, tea with relaxation. But what we often miss is that the soothing effect may be short-lived, while the bathroom visit is almost guaranteed. So what can you do instead? Start by stopping all fluid intake 5 to 2 hours before bed. That gives your body time to process what you've already consumed before it's time to rest. Now if your throat gets dry, or you feel the need for something that's okay, take a few tiny sips of water, just enough to wet your mouth, not enough to fill your bladder, and it's not just about water. Avoid caffeine and alcohol after 6 p.m. Even a small glass of wine or a cup of def can still affect your system more than you think, especially as your body becomes more sensitive with age. This simple change limiting evening fluids can lead to deeper, uninterrupted sleep. Betty tried it, and within a few nights, she noticed a difference. The 3:30 a.m. wake-up gone. She still enjoys her tea, but now a few hours earlier, right after dinner, same comfort, better timing. But now let's shift to something even more empowering, because sometimes better sleep isn't just about what you avoid. It's about what you do intentionally, gently and with purpose. And the next step, it just might be the most powerful nighttime habit you've never tried. Sometimes the answer to better sleep isn't always in a pill or a pillow. It's in the way you move right before you rest. Let me introduce you to Lillian. She's 69, lives a quiet life, and spent most evenings curled up in her favorite chair with a book. But for months she was stuck in a frustrating cycle. Every night, like clockwork, she'd wake at 3 a.m., eyes wide open, mind alert, body tense. She tried everything: herbal teas, dark curtains, soft music. But nothing worked until her doctor suggested something surprisingly simple. Stretch for 5 minutes before bed. Just 5 minutes. At first, Lillian laughed. Stretching. That's it. But she gave it a try. Just before bed, she stood next to her bed, rolled her shoulders back, reached her arms gently overhead, tilted her head side to side, breathed in and let it go. Within a week, her 3 a.m. wake-up started to fade. Her body wasn't as tight. Her mind felt less jumpy. She didn't just fall asleep. She stayed asleep. And here's why this works. Gentle movement tells your nervous system it's safe. When you stretch or practice slow, intentional breathing to activate what's called the parasympathetic nervous system, your body's rest and digest mode. This helps reduce cortisol, lower your heart rate, and release stored muscle tension, the kind you didn't even realize you were holding from the day. And yet a lot of older adults think relaxing before bed means not moving at all. They sit still for hours watching TV or reading quietly. But what happens is that their muscles become stiff, their circulation slows, and when they finally lie down, the body isn't ready, it's restless. Stillness can be too much, especially when the body needs a signal to shift gears. Instead, try this simple bedtime ritual. Stand or sit comfortably. Start with shoulder rolls, gently forward, then backward. Do a few neck stretches. Lower one ear toward your shoulder. Hold for a few seconds, then switch sides. A soft seated twist. Nothing aggressive, just enough to loosen your back. And as you do it, breathe. Inhale through your nose for a count of 4. Hold it for just a second, then exhale slowly through your mouth for a count of 6. Do this for just 5 minutes. That's all. Enough to shift your system. Enough to signal to your body. It's time to let go. It's time to rest. Lillian still does it every night, just like brushing her teeth, and she hasn't had a 3 a.m. wake-up in months. But what if you do still wake up between 3 and 5 a.m.? Even after all of this, well, then the most powerful step you can take is actually the first thing you do after you wake up. What if waking up at 4 a.m. wasn't something wrong with you, but something right? That's exactly what Margaret, 76, came to believe. She'd been waking up at 4:10 every morning for over a year. At first she was frustrated, tossing, turning, trying every trick to get back to sleep. She'd lie there in the dark, feeling defeated, asking herself, "Why is this happening to me?" Until one morning she stopped fighting it, instead of reaching for sleep that wouldn't come. Margaret lit a small candle. She made a cup of herbal tea, She sat in her kitchen, wrapped in a soft shawl, and started writing little letters to her grandchildren, just simple notes, a memory, a piece of advice, a wish for their future, and slowly that 4 a.m. frustration turned into something sacred. She started calling it her peace hour, a quiet space just for her soul. No noise, no chores, no obligations, just stillness, meaning and presence. You see, these early hours between 3 and 5 a.m. aren't just biologically active. They're spiritually rich. According to many wellness traditions, this is a time when your body and mind are most receptive. A window for clarity, intuition, and gentle awakening. Your breathing slows, your thoughts soften, and your heart opens. It's also a time when your melatonin, the sleep hormone, begins to fade, and your cortisol, the alertness hormone, gently rises. This transition makes the mind naturally reflective, calm and quietly alert. You're not quite asleep, not fully awake. And in that space there's room for something deeper. But here's the problem. We're taught that these hours are bad, that if you wake early, something's broken, but that's not always true. In fact, it can be a sign that your body is more in tune than ever. As we age, we often become more sensitive to natural rhythms, sunlight, temperature, emotion, even spiritual pull. And sometimes those early morning hours are your body's invitation to reconnect with yourself, with your memories, with your purpose. So if you wake up and can't fall back asleep, don't panic, don't fight it. Rise gently, sit by a window, read a poem. Say a prayer, light a candle. Close your eyes and breathe. Or simply sit in silence with your thoughts. It's not wasted time. It's sacred time. You might even start to look forward to it. Like Margaret does, like so many others who've turned these quiet hours into healing rituals. And now that we've explored all 5 powerful things you can do when you wake between 3 and 5 a.m., let's talk about what it all really means. Not just for your sleep, but for your heart, your peace, and your deeper well-being. Waking up alone in the dark. That moment when the house is silent, the world outside still asleep, and it's just you lying there with your thoughts. It can feel unsettling. It can feel lonely. And when it happens night after night, you might begin to wonder if something's wrong. Why now? Why me? But here's the truth that no one tells you. You are not alone in this. So many older women, strong, wise, and deeply intuitive, experience this very same thing. And not because they're broken, not because they've failed at aging gracefully, but because their bodies and their spirits are still speaking, still whispering something important. You see, waking up between 3 and 5 a.m. isn't just about your sleep, it's about your rhythm, your journey, and how your inner world is changing in ways that are subtle but powerful. Instead of fearing it, instead of reaching for frustration or worry, what if you saw it as a signal, a gentle tap on the shoulder from your body saying, "Hey, I'm still here. Let's pay attention." You've spent decades caring for others, raising families, working hard, keeping everything in balance. But now your body might be asking for your attention, your care, your softness. This isn't a time to feel broken. It's a time to feel awakened. Awakened to your needs, awakened to your emotions, awakened to your inner wisdom that is still very much alive. So tonight, just take one small step. You don't need to overhaul your entire routine. Start simple. Light a candle. Crack your window, stretch your arms. Whisper a quiet prayer. Write a line in your journal, even if it's just "I'm here." Because these small actions, they matter. They're signals to your nervous system that you are safe, that you are present, that your rest is not gone. It's just shifting. And most importantly, please remember this. Your sleep will evolve as you age. Yes, it may change. Yes, it may become lighter, shorter, or interrupted. But that doesn't mean peace is out of reach. It doesn't mean you've lost the ability to feel restored, centered, whole. You deserve mornings that begin with grace, not grogginess. You deserve nights that end with comfort, not confusion. And if no one's told you this lately, let me be the one to say it. You're doing beautifully, your body is wise. And even in the stillness of early morning, you are growing, you are healing. You are never alone. To recap, if you find yourself waking up between 3 and 5 in the morning, don't ignore it. Try these 5 gentle shifts that could truly change the way you experience your nights and your mornings. First, take a moment to reflect on your emotional state. Your heart may be holding more than you realize, and those quiet hours could be your body's way of asking you to release it. Second, adjust your room temperature and airflow. Make your sleep environment a place where your body can truly rest, not overheat or feel stifled. Third, reduce your evening fluid intake. Let your kidneys rest during the night. Save your hydration for the daytime when your body can handle it best. Fourth, move gently before bed. Stretch, breathe. Let your muscles and your mind prepare for rest the way they were meant to. And fifth, maybe the most beautiful one of all, create a morning ritual. Instead of fighting the early hours, embrace them. Let them be a sacred window for peace, reflection, and gentle beginnings. Now let me ask you, have you tried any of these before? Do you have a little ritual, a moment of stillness that brings you peace during those early wake-ups? Or maybe you've just discovered something new you're excited to try tonight. Share your thoughts in the comments below. I would genuinely love to hear your story. You never know. Your experience might be the one that helped someone else finally feel understood. And if this video made you feel a little more seen, a little more supported, please subscribe to Elderly Wisdom Insight. This channel isn't just about tips and advice. It's about connection. It's about honoring the journey you're on at this stage, in this season. We're here for every gentle step forward. Thank you so much for watching. And remember, your body is still talking to you. Even in the quiet moments, it's offering clues, comfort, guidance, and yes, wisdom. So let's keep listening together. Stay wise, stay gentle, and I'll see you in the next video.